Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20 question mock test and a hazard perception if everything goes according to plan. Hopefully guys have had a good week so far and a good weekend. Let me just get my windows up. Remember, if you've got any questions about your theory test, driving lessons, throw it into the chat. I will see it. But please put a Q semicolon. It makes it so much easier for me to find. Otherwise, it looks like a comment. And I may skip over it by mistake. So if you've got a question, please put a Q semicolon and then your question afterwards. Remember, I'm here to help you because my phone's beeping like mad. Remember, guys, I'm here to help you to pass your theory test. So ask any questions. Don't be afraid. If you're new, first time here, say so. And I'll give you a shout out as well. So I think I'm good to go. What time are you starting? 10 o'clock. We're live at this point in time. I've not seen your name before, Hurst, though. So I'm assuming you are new. So welcome. Abdul, sir, please help me with what? You've got to put a bit more information than that. Aman, how are you? Hopefully you are fine. Still waiting for your license, no doubt. We're from the DVSA. But keep studying, going. Like I said, I think it was last week. At least you're studying, so when that license comes, you're good to go with that as well. Good morning, sir. Tina Babby. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Tina Abbey. But either way, good morning. I've not seen your name before. Hence the problems pronouncing it. So hopefully you're well. Selena, how are you? How's the driving going? Got my test on the 14th. Need help? Just saying you need help doesn't help me. I don't know what you need help with. If your test is the 14th of this month, that's 11 days from now. You need to give me a bit more information than that. RLTV, welcome to you. Hopefully you are well. Marcel, good morning to you. Margaret, good morning. I have my theory is next Monday. I really need more help because the last time I got 42 out of 50. Next Monday, which would be the 11th. Again, you guys are just saying help. Well, I don't know what help you need. What are you struggling with? I need a bit more information than that. And plus, there's not much I can do about the live. My suggestion is join the boot camp. That's your best bet. Get live, exclusive, direct help from that. On the live, it's just literally going to be general information rather than a personal information. I don't know you, so it's very hard to help someone you don't know over a live session. I can just give out general information unless you ask me a particular question. Victoria, good morning to you. Nicholas, good morning. Perez, hopefully I'm saying it right. Good morning, everyone. This is my first time here. Welcome. I just call you Tina. I'll do that. Emmanuel, been a little while. How are you? Tommy Lola, good morning. Not seen your name before. First time coming to a live. Appreciate your part. Passed your first test 45 out of 50, 50 out of 75. Well done to you. Congrats. Thank you for coming to the live and making it a first time as well. Appreciate that. What are you going to do next? Looking to book a driving test, driving lessons? Miriam, welcome. Let us know. We'll be trying to book a test tomorrow. With that, 6 a.m. is when they start. If you want to get up early tomorrow, Selena, 5 to 6, log on. Wait in anticipation for those new times and dates. Hopefully you get lucky first time and be able to pick one up. If not, just keep checking throughout the week, different days, different times. You never know, you get a cancellation. It's not going to be easy trying to get a driving test, especially this time of year now, because it's really, really busy. All the students want to be driving before they go back to college, uni, whatever they're going to be doing next. Good morning. All right, what I'm going to do, Nicholas has passed his test, 48 out of 50. I missed it by 2, the magical 50, 57, that's 75. Well done to you again. Nicholas, what's your next step? Congratulations on passing, first and foremost. But what's your next step? Driving lessons or driving test? All right, let me do the overview and then we'll get started on the 20 questions. And like I said, as you guys got any questions, please put in the chat Q semicolon. It makes it easier for me to find and you can get a direct answer. If you need help, don't just put I need help. That means nothing to me whatsoever. Put a particular reason why you need the help or whatever it is, and I can try to tailor the answer to you. Otherwise, it's just a general answer that anyone can use. Let me just see this. Faustina. Ken, thanks so much. Maybe this may help you in terms of what you need to do, because you got the first live stream, which is fine. I'm welcome to that. First ever to drive, first time ever to try ferry test. Can you help me out? Yes, study. That's the only way I can do that. Your first time doing the ferry test, study. I'm going to go through some overviews. Hopefully that helps you. And Zion is new here. Welcome to you. Right, let me just quickly do the overview, then we get started. So multiple choice. Your ferry test is based on 14 different categories, if you didn't know. Hence why my videos, I keep saying study the categories individually to give you full exposure to all the possible questions from the app itself. On the day of the test, you get 50 questions out of the database. The DVS have a database between 1,200 to 1,500 questions. On the app, it's only 770 odd questions. I will say this because it always comes up during the week, emails, WhatsApps. It is sampled questions on the app, not the real questions. I repeat, it's sampled questions on the app. You guys are still going into the test expecting to see the same questions worded the same way on the real test. It's not going to be that way. The questions are slightly changed and there may be questions that you've never seen before. But you have 50 questions out of their 1,200, 1,500 questions to choose from. When you go in there, if there's 10 of you in the room, it's 10 different tests going on. You do not get the same test as a person next to you. It's random. And that's the reason why I say study the categories, so you have the full knowledge. You don't know how your test is going to be made up from the categories. Time that you have to do the 50 questions is 57 minutes. Admittedly, no one takes the full 57 minutes unless you've got a learning disability, which you can extend the time if you have. Unfortunately, you've got to jump through hoops to get that. But if you have got a learning disability, you can apply to get longer time than 57 minutes. But if you studied, no one takes the 57 minutes. I'm not saying rush the test, by the way. I'm not saying no one takes the 57 minutes. But if you have to take it to pass it, so be it. You're better off taking the 57 minutes and passing than doing it in 20 minutes and failing. That doesn't make sense to me. And once you've done the 50 questions, you move on to the hazard perception, which I will do a demonstration at the end of the 20 question mock test. 14 videos, 13 of them have single hazards. One of them's got a double where you score 2 5s, i.e. a 10. You need to average 3 across the board to get the minimum score of 44. Obviously, if your average is less than 3, it's going to be a fail, but ideally, get 4s and 5s and you'll be in the 50s, 60s breathing space, just in case you mess up on a couple of zeros, stuff like that. What are they looking for? Safety outcome. It's always going to be safe, just like the driving test is safety. Control is what the examiner looks for in your driving test. It's safety, and control on your theory test is no different. If it doesn't lead to a safe outcome or a controlled outcome, the answer is always going to be wrong. No doubts about that. So that's the overview of the test. Let me just catch up with what you guys are saying. Did my last test, got 41 out of 50 and doing revision, which means you got 9 questions wrong, which should suggest you got at least 5 categories of questions wrong. I would suggest you restudy those categories. That's what I would do. So when you fail a test, for all of you, when you guys fail a test, you have now got data to what to work on. So in this case, 9 questions wrong, it will suggest a minimum of 5 categories you got the questions wrong in. That's what you need to restudy to bring that knowledge back up to speed. That's what I would do with that. Evelyn, good morning to you. Don't know why that's gone back down there. Put that back up. Nicholas, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for that. I want your help as well to be 100%. The only way to get my help is through the boot camp or doing the lives, asking questions. So you're in the right place, ask questions. Other than that, I don't do one-to-ones. I do a boot camp which starts every Monday. I'm failing safety. I'm failing safety. If that's what you're saying, you're failing the theory test on, that's not true. There's no way you're getting enough safety questions to be failing. It's a combination. You may feel safety is your weakness, but if you are saying you're failing your theory test because of safety questions, it's not true, because there's no way you're getting 8 safety questions on your theory test. So it's a combination of safety and other things. So you want to be careful with that. All right, let me start this 20 question answers. I'll keep up with the chat as you guys typing in. 22nd of July. Well, who's this? Henry. 46 and just scrapped the has perception, but the past is the past. 46. Well done, Henry. Congratulations. I've not seen your name before, so I'm assuming you're new or broke your silence, but I appreciate breaking the silence and letting me know how you got on. Nicholas, you're welcome. Right, let me do the 20 question mock test. Let me share my screen so you can see. Right, for those of you that are new, we read the questions first. When may you stop and wait in a box junctions? I would always suggest if there's an image, look at the image. Sounds obvious, but believe it or not, sometimes there's clues in the image. Not all the time, but sometimes there's clues. And then go to your 4 options. For those of you that are new, this is A, this is B. So A and B on the top line, C and D, C and D on the bottom line. So please put the question number. So we're on question 1. If you think it's 1A, that's what you want to type in. And the reason why I'm saying that, because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. So when you type the answer, I always want to make sure it's on the same, we're on the same page. If the question number is not there, it doesn't get shown. You have taken the time to type it out. So I'd like to show you and give you your props. So please put the question number and the letter of choice. Remember, if you guys got any questions, ask away. But please put a Q semicolon in front of it. Good morning, Dora. I'm here to benefit again. Hopefully you get some benefit out of this. Still doing lessons. How far are you down with your lessons? What are you doing? That's a better way. It gives me an idea where you're at. Are you doing maneuvers, general driving? Let me know what you're doing. Chad, how are you? Instructor's way. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? But my test October. That's literally around the corner. Because just the other week I was talking about August, and we're now August the 3rd. So time is really, really flying. So before you know it, that's going to be there. But you're right, you've got more practice getting in as well. So hopefully it will go as well. Chad, where are you taking your test? What area? Interesting to know what area you're taking your test at. Stacey, good morning to you. Ferry test is booked for 11th. That's 11th of August. That's Monday week. So you've got a week left. You've got another live, that means. Next Sunday, yes, I'm here. So you've got another live. Type in any questions while you're studying. Jot them down, bring them next week. Let's send you into that test. Really confident on Monday. Calicia, hopefully I'm saying it right. I'm throwing the past my theory test. 47 out of 50, 64. Guys, score high scores, man. 64, 75, brilliant. Well done to you. Congratulations. No, you can book your test at any time. The only reason why I'm saying Monday at 6 a.m., the DUSA released new dates only on Monday, 6 a.m. But you can check online and you can check tonight, today, for example. All I'm saying is they release new dates on Monday at 6 a.m. and you may get a chance to pick up one of those if you're quick enough. But outside of that, you can jump online at any time. That's what I would suggest. After Monday, jump on the line any time of day, morning, noon, night, different times. You may get a cancellation because what you're going to find by booking a driving test, it's very difficult to get a date. And you just need to be online at the right time, right place to pick up any cancellations that happens. That's what I'm saying there. Terry Chris, welcome to you. How are you? Right, let's look at this number ones. Gloria, welcome. Right, let's get the number ones. Ones. Where are you? One B. Marissa's always coming through. I keep saying every week, coming through the back door. Hello, Marissa. How are you? Why you guys are all going for B? That's promising 1B. Yep, that sounds correct. How much can stopping distance increase in icy conditions? Tina, I want to ask that is 4-in-1 a good job or that is another app that is better? If you're asking me, is there a better app out there? I can't answer that because I don't tend to use other apps. It's been a long time since I've used other apps to do the job. To be honest, most apps, if they're licensed, they are got the same questions because the questions come from the DVSA. Like I'm licensed in my boot camp, the questions that I've got in there come from the DVSA. It's the same as the app. Is it a better app than most? Again, I don't know, but I recommend the 4-in-1 because that's what I use. Get my pupils in the boot camp to use it. I just think the interface is a lot easier, a lot smoother to use than most when I used the years ago. And they're adding new stuff in there all the time, keeping up to date, keeping it fresh. So that's what I would recommend. But as long as you're going for a paid version and it's licensed by the DVSA, technically you can't go wrong. But I just think the 4-in-1 is just ease of use. And not only that, you can use it after you pass your theory test as well for driving. They're putting a lot of driving content in there now as well. Yep, Georgia is, and like I said, it's the same for everyone across the country. Even us as a driving course doing intensives, we are finding it extremely difficult to get driving tests for our students. So everyone's in the same boat. The DVSA are trying to change that, but ain't gonna happen overnight. If it happens at all. I would also add, if you do get a test date, let's just say, example, funny enough, because we got a test date for someone next year. January, I think it came through, January the 4th or something like that. Anyway, I know it was next year. Still take that date. I know it seems like a long way away. Take it because you've got a bargain until there's apps out there that you can actually move the test date. So type in what you're looking for, where you're looking for, and take, and they will try to shift it for you to an early date. But at least if you take that date, you got a chance. You got a date is basically what I'm trying to say. If you think to yourself, right, I'll see the date, but it's too far away, I'm going to leave it. That date's gone. Someone else getting, you're still looking. Before you know it, you could be next year still looking. So whatever date comes up, just take it and try to change it by moving it forwards. If you change it and move it forwards, it's a touch. If you don't, at least you still got a date. That's my advice. A lot of people are seeing dates and it's far away and they're just refusing them. Take it while you've got the chance. And if you've got an instructor that's within the community doing stuff with other instructors, he may be able to change it with another instructor as well, which a lot of instructors are doing. 2A seems the common answer. What are we talking about? Icy conditions is 10. Wet is 4 or double. Dry is 2 seconds. I've got a video coming out where I got this question wrong. What does this mean? Nicholas saying 14-1 is the ultimate straight up. Yeah, I like I said, every student I recommend uses it, loves it. But like I said, I can't say it's the best because I haven't used others for years. But if it's getting results, I can only sing its praises. It's starting to come through now. So you guys got a better knowledge now because, like I said, I've got a video coming out on road signs. I'm hopefully finished editing it today, and it comes out next Wednesday. I actually got this question wrong. Spoiler alert. I left it in the video just to show you I still make silly mistakes. But yeah, I actually got that question wrong. So you guys know more than me on this one. I now know that's the right answer, by the way, so that's correct. Which is really weird. What will happen if your car wheels are unbalanced? Wheels unbalanced. Right, so looking for the fours. Remember, if you guys got any questions, type it in the chat. But put a Q semicolon so it makes it a lot easier for me to see it. Esther, good morning, Mr. D. Everyone, I'm happy to share my happiness and appreciate to you for passing my test last week. 46 and 57. Thank you for your help, Esther. Well done to you. Congratulations on passing. And thank you for coming back to the live and let me know how you got on. Appreciate that. I think you mentioned that you was in Wales before, but you said Southfield in my ferry. Merva. Yeah, you're getting the practice in, so well done to you. It'd be interesting how the Welsh roads are. And is it easy to drive in Wales? Because I'm obviously teaching London. London's crazy. It's not so bad at the moment because there's schools on holiday, but some crazy drivers out there, especially this week with my student as well. So I'm just trying to find the fours. Ooh, got a 4A Charmaine and I got a 4B Aman. But the majority is going for 4B, so I've got to assume four B is correct. Oh, number 4A. Right, let's take a look. Your wheel. What will happen if your car wheels about? Yeah, the unbalanced, they're going to vibrate, whatever that number is, letter is. So it's B, so it's going to vibrate. The steering wheel pull to one side. Steering pulls to one side, that's tracking. That's a different type of question, obviously. So car pulling to one side is tracking, your brakes are worn unevenly. Vibration is wheels are unbalanced. And you always say look for clues in the question. Sometimes it's got car wheels are unbalanced, and you've got steering wheel, which is the link to the get the right one up. Is a link between the two. But the steering pulling to one side is what we call tracking. Get rid of that so I can click it. What's the reason for What's the reason for traffic calming measures? Fazazi, I'm just saying that correct. Passed my theory test on July the 29th. That's just around the corner. Last week, I scored 47. Multiple choice and 50 has a perception. Thank you so much for the hard work. You're the one who put the work in, because obviously you turn up to the lives, you watch the videos, you've studied. So congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming and let me know how you got on. Appreciate that. What's next for you? Driving lessons, driving test. Coco, another pass as well. 50 out of 50. Well done. Congrats. The magical 50. And 60 out of 75 are high score. 60s are highs on the has perception. So well done to you. Again, what's your next step? 50s out of 50s is kind of rare. That's why I'm kind of like when people get it. Please, bro, will we do video? I don't know what you mean by that. If you mean has perception, yes. But other than that, I don't know what you mean. Good morning, Don. I passed my third test on Thursday. Your videos teaching very helpful. Thank you so much. Congratulations on passing. Again, not seen your name before, so I appreciate either coming or and breaking your silence. Letting us know how you got on, Zion. I need help on my hazard perception. Next Monday. Doesn't make sense why you got a test next Monday. You don't know about the hazard perception. I need help. Let me just read this again. Sorry. Dyslexia is really kicking in. I don't know how to go about it, but we'll be having my theory test next week, Monday. But you booked a test and don't know how to go about hazard perception. It's very easy remedies. One thing I would suggest is do the videos on the app. Practice makes you better. I will do a demonstration at the end of this to help you along, but you shouldn't be booking a theory test if you're not ready. That goes for the questions as well, because you're just putting pressure on yourself trying to find the fives. You're just putting pressure on yourself when you're going in there, and when you're under pressure, you're a third of the way to failing. You guys are going for A's. You all 6A, Stacey. I'm assuming you meant 5. You're always going to be nervous when you go into a test, any test, because I still get nervous when I get check tested when an examiner sits in my car and watch me give a driving lesson. But knowledge is a powerful thing. As much as I've been doing this for years, I know my stuff. So as much, I'm the wrong one. As much as I know my stuff, yes, I still get nervous, but it doesn't stop me from passing. Is the point I'm making. But what you don't want to do is go in there with a lack of knowledge. And obviously, if you're struggling with hazard perception, you're under pressure already. I'll send out some love. I love in that. 5A seems to be the common answer. Lydia, good morning to you. 5A. Yeah, traffic calming measures are to slow traffic down. There's 3 types of traffic calming measures, just in case they asked you on the real test. There's speed humps, which is the obvious one. There's width restriction, where you go for a tight space. Got to slow down to do that. And chicanes, when the pavement comes out from either side, so you have to slow down to negotiate the curves of the pavement. At an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. How could you help them? I'm sorry, I can't do that. I don't live anywhere near Hereford. I got no idea where Hereford is, let alone for me to recommend. I would suggest that's going to be a friends and family. Ask them if they got a driving instructor they can recommend, or jump onto Google and type in instructors near me, and you should see some reviews on there as well, so you can see what people are saying about them. But unfortunately, I can't recommend, because like I said, I don't even know where Hereford City is, let alone know the instructors down there. So sorry, I can't help you on that one. I wish you the luck with the driving though. I have 51 days to go to the ferry test. 51 days is precise. Learning a lot from your YouTube. Great work you're doing. Any tips on has perception? I'm gonna do 2-click method. I'm gonna do a demonstration, so stick to the end or watch the replay back. I'll do a demonstration on has perception to help you guys out, because again I get swamped with emails, and I think I said hello to Lydia already, but I can't know how I'm doing again. Yeah, WhatsApp's struggling with has perception. To me personally, I think that's one of the worst ways to fail with the theory test. Questions, you never know what questions are coming up, because as I said, it's random, and they've got a choice of 1,200 to 1,500 questions. Has perception, once you understand it, you shouldn't really be failing, because a hazard's a hazard. But it's the worst way to fail because it's the easiest part. And I know it's easy for you because you know what to do, but once you understand it, it's standard. A question could be anything. Road signs, blah, 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 all the rest of it. A hazard. Once you know what a hazard is, what you're looking for, it's on every video. It doesn't change. You just have to spot it. You guys are all going for A, so I've got to assume that A. You guys are in the conversation, loving that. Yeah, sorry, you guys are going for A, so I've got to assume that's correct. I think that's the last one. Yeah, douse is old-fashioned word for pour water in this situation. If water's clean water or cool water is not on there, on the real test I'm talking about, you're looking for non-toxic fluid. They can word it either way. So it'd be non-toxic fluid on your real test. Where would you find these road markings? Always look at the image. There's a clue there. All right, let's take a look at these. I use the elimination method, which also helped my trainings. That's brilliant. Bad habits. I never heard someone say that. Bad habits. I always heard the safety factor, but bad habits is another way of looking at it. So well done. Yeah, if you don't know the elimination method, work out what it can't be. So work out backwards. I teach this into the bootcamp as well. So I would suggest you flag your answer rather than trying to work it out live, in a sense. So if you're not sure what the answer is, and this is, you can do this at home on your app as well. Don't know what the answer is, flag the answer, move on. And then once you've finished your 50th question, it asks you, do you want to review your flagged ones? Say yes, go back to the flagged ones and then work backwards. So work out what it can't be. There's always a stupid one on there. And I can show you on this if it comes up. So you eliminate the stupid answer. So you now got 1 in 3 chance as opposed to 1 in 4, which obviously means it's better chance. Sometimes there's 2 stupid answers. Sometimes there's even 3 stupid answers. And by default, you're left with the right answer. So the elimination method is another way of studying rather than always looking forwards, if that makes sense. Looking for the right answer. Thanks, Chief. My wife passed the test last week, 44 out of 50, 59. We'll be doing mine in 2 weeks. Oh, pressure's on. Your wife passed, now you got to do it. First of all, congratulations to your wife. Tell her well done from me. And I wish you luck when it comes to yours in a couple of weeks. What we're looking for, 7s. The first one. Valentina, good morning to you. Hopefully you're well. You guys are going for B. Please have booked my driving test, but 7B. I'm not understanding what you mean by that. Please have booked my driving test. Are you telling me you booked it? Are you gone for 7B anyway? Right, B seems to be the common answer. as I said, look at the image, it's round. So it's got roundabouts. That's the link between it. Sometimes, like I said, there's clues in the question. There may be clues in the image. Not all the time, but like I said, if you stay calm enough, you can work it out sometimes. So like I said, the picture's round. You got a picture of a roundabout. This is actually a mini roundabout. So if we go, like I said, do the elimination, go backwards. Let's just say for argument's sake, you didn't know what this was, then you can go on a pedestrian crossing. You're definitely not going to see that because pedestrian crossings are in a red triangle. At a railway crossing, no suggestion of a railway, any shape or form. And on the motorways, motorway signs are blue. So but literally by the process of elimination, you get rid of these three. So by default, you're left with this one. As I said, you can work backwards. Don't always work forwards. Where would you find green reflective studs on the motorway? Let's finish off with these comments that I've not seen. Hello, Mr. D, trying to book my driving test since Friday. I can't find it even till next year. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Nope, you're not doing anything wrong. As I mentioned earlier on, it's hard to find a driving test and it's going to be like that for some time. So as I mentioned, jump on tomorrow morning, 5 to 6, log on, and 6 a.m. The DVSA release new dates. You may need to do it a few Mondays to get the date that get a date. Outside of that, log on different times of the day, Monday to Sunday. Log on tonight if you want, or even log on after the live and see if there's any dates, because people will cancel. You just have to be online at the right time, right place to pick up a date. So it's difficult for everyone. You're not going to do it at the first attempt unless you're really, really lucky. It's going to take a few tries because our company's doing it literally Monday to Friday, right through the hours of the day just to get test dates. So don't give up, keep trying. David, I don't know, I had my test last Tuesday and I passed first time. Congratulations, 46 out of 50, 54.75. I got 0 on a clip because I clicked too many times. I got 9 on the double. Thanks for your tips. Thank you for coming and let us know that, and especially putting what you did. You can still pass with getting zeros. So if you got a 0 and it told you, it means you clicked in an unacceptable manner. So you either clicked too many times or clicked in a rhythmic pattern. It's going to tell you that, so you can change the style of clips. As David done here, he got a 9 on the double. So he's technically a +3 because you need to average 3 across the board. So the minimum you want on your double is a 6. Ideally, you want an 8 or a 9, where obviously that covered his 0. Because remember, you need to average 3 across the board. So if he got 9 on his double, as I said, +3 catered for the 0. And he still got 54 with a 0. So well done to him. Fowler, I'm bearing good news. Passed my test on Monday, first attempt. Is that 50 out of 50? Well done to you. Congratulations, the magical 50. 68 out of 75. Well done to you. Honestly, couldn't have done it without your videos. They helped take my anxiety off. Thank you so much. And this is what I'm trying to say again. Fowler, thank you for putting this in there. The more knowledge you have, the calmer you should be in there. If you go in there being stressed, panicked, anxiety, you tend to pick the wrong answers if you're struggling with the answers. Obviously, if you know what the answer is, it's going to help, but there's going to be questions that you're going to be in. And if you've got anxiety, stress, panic, you will probably pick the wrong answer because the brain cannot think through those situations. So that's the reason why I keep saying to you guys, study the categories in turn so you've got knowledge which should keep you calmer in that situation. And there's a person on there that said they booked a ferry test for next Monday, I believe, and don't know how to do a hazard perception. You're already now struggling and panicking to a point because your test is coming up in 7 days time or 8 days and you don't know how to do the hazard perception. You don't want to be doing your ferry test if you don't know, if you're not ready, is the best way of putting that. Remove the stress. You have a better chance of passing. Sorry, we're number 8. Let's find the 8. And Tina's gone for a B. The majority has gone for a C, so I've got to assume C is correct. Another B. Please, can you explain more on the reflective studs? I'll do that in a minute. Let me just go through some of these and explain about the studs in a minute. There is a video on the channel that breaks it down in a lot of simple terms. Got my test month. And Margaret, I wish you luck with that. Right. I think you guys went for C, wasn't it? C was a common answer. Green studs as slip rods. Once you see green, you automatically just go for slip rods. There's nothing to think about. So breaking it down studs wise, there's a clue in the question when they give it to you. First and foremost, if you don't know how the studs work, all you got to do is work out where the stud is. So if this is green, there's nothing to think about. It's the slip rod, as you know. So between the hard shoulder and the carriageway, that would be your left. The hard shoulder's on your left. So you go to your 3 letters. Hold on, let me just get this up so you can see what I'm pointing at. So if it was this question, you go to your 3 letters, which is R, W, A. And because the hard shoulder's on the left, you go to the left of the R, W, A, which would be red. So this would be red studs. If this was this question between the carriageway and the central reservation, the central reservation is on the right hand side of you, which is the right hand lane. So you go to the 3 letters. On the right is A, so it'd be amber. And if it was this one separating the driving lanes, which is the middle lane, you go to your 3 letters, go in the middle, and it would be white. But this breaks it down. All you got to do is work out where the stud is, and then this gives you the letter of that color. So hopefully that helps you out. Check answer. You're driving on a motorway at night. Which light should you have on if there are other vehicles just ahead of you? Good morning to you. Is that Bimyon on top? TV. If I have to understand that right. Hope to find an auto instructor soon. I wish you luck with that. Like I said, this time of year, all instructors can be busy. Because it's just the time of year where the students want to learn. I will start my lessons this month. Any tips on what to do before I get an instructor? Watch videos. That's what I would suggest. Again, the more knowledge you have, the calmer you're going to be, because you're going to be very nervous on the first lesson. So I would jump onto YouTube and watch driving videos. Driving School TV, Clearview Driving School, DGN is another one. Conquest Driving School is another. There's quite a few that I would recommend. Those are the ones I would definitely look at, because for me personally, the way they teach, the way they film it, they do it with a sense of humor, and that's what you need on your driving lessons. The last thing you want is a driving instructor who's totally strict and serious, and you want someone who's going to make it fun. And watching their videos, I think they do that. Please, can you show me how to flag an answer? I can't show you on this because this is the desktop version and it's only a 20 question mock test. If you're using the 4-in-1 that I recommend, all you got to do is go to the bottom of the 4-in-1 and there's a flag right there. So answer the question, flag it, move on. It's literally at the bottom. So if you're using the 4-in-1, that's why I recommend it. Go to the bottom of the 4 options that you've got and there's a flag there. When you flag it, it turns red. And then you move on. When you get to the 50th question, it asks you, do you want to review your flagged ones? Like I said, you're going to be saying yes. It takes you only back to the flagged ones, but it's very easy to do. Can't miss it if you're using the 4-in-1. If you're using other apps, I don't know if they do flag in, and I can't tell you where to find it because, like I said, I don't use it. I've been a silent follower, and thank you very much for watching your videos. They really helped me. First attempt, congratulations, 46 and 53, congratulations, and silent follow as well. So you broke your silence and let me know. Thank you, and I appreciate that. And if you're still here, let me know what you're doing next, driving lessons or a driving test. Oh, Romali passed it, just about passed it, 43 out of 50. Congratulations on passing, but that's just a pass. And 67, wow, it's high. Only by watching your videos. Massive respect to you and what you do. Thank you. No problems. The only thing I would say with this, 43 out of 50, I know you've passed it, but if it was one of my students in the boot camp came back and said you passed with 43, I would still say check the questions you got wrong or the categories you got the questions wrong in. The reason being because if it was road signs, rules of the road, I would say brush up on that. because obviously if you're getting road signs wrong and rules of the road wrong, it may be something you need for your driving lessons or your driving test. So I would just definitely look at the categories and brush up on if it's road signs and rules of the road, just to give you a better knowledge of for your driving lesson. That's the only thing I would suggest on that. But congratulations anyway for passing, and we're on number 9. I think this is the first one. You are welcome. Morning. And the common answer seems to be B. Might be. Dipped headlights. Little tip that I give in the boot camp. If it's a bog standard light question, the answer is always going to be dipped headlights. I think I said this on my videos as well. Yeah, so this is just a bog standard light question. It's going to be dipped headlights. If they want any other lights, it's going to be within the question. You just have to be, again, stay calm enough to read it, look for the clues in there. But a bog standard light question answer is always going to be dipped headlights. Sometimes they just drop the dipped and use the word headlights. It makes it sound like it's a different light, but it's the same light. Dipped headlights and headlights on its own are the same thing. What should you do when you're following a motorcyclist along a road that has a poor surface? Please, how can you help? I think you mean live in Luton and got my driving test booked in Liverpool, November 27th, but all effort to change and date and location is not working for me. Please, any tips? Yeah, use an app called Test. There are other apps out there, but again, I only recommend what my pupils have used. They recommend me, or I recommend other people. I repeat, there's other apps out there, but there's an app called Test Shift. Download the app and then type in your requirements with your test date for Liverpool, and they should be able to swap it within the time scale. Because you said November, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, November 27th, which August, September, October, November. Yeah. They should be able to swap it for Luton at some point. But the app is called Test Shift. I repeat, there's other apps on there, so you may want to download 2 or 3 of them, so you give yourself the best possible chance of changing it. Also, with that, I'll also keep an eye on the the cancellation date, 10 working days before that cancellation, just in case they can't do it. You need to cancel, otherwise you lose your fee, or you're going to have to travel to Liverpool to take it, if not to lose your fee. That's what I was saying earlier on. If you guys have got a test date showing up on the system, 10D, and it's far away, take it and shift it. Don't just, oh, no, it's too far away for me, because you've still got no dates at all if you don't book it. Take it, shift it. Or your instructor may be able to shift it for you. 10B and C. That makes no sense. You can only choose one. Test shift, yeah. But you have to have a test date first. Don't start downloading the app thinking they're going to find you a date. You've got to have a date first. That's what I'm saying, that a date, regardless of where it is, when it is a bargaining tool. Without a date, you've got nothing. 10C, common answer. Yeah, it's going to be that one. Someone went for B. Allow the same room as normal to avoid waste. That doesn't lead to safety. Doesn't lead to safety, it leads to danger. Which instrument panel warning lights would show that headlights are on main beam? Harmon, I got my test on last 43, again 43. Congratulations on passing, but again, I would just double check the categories on that one. I don't know what happened. It has a test got 39, but you failed on hazard perception. So you got 5 short on that one. You said, I don't know what happened, what went wrong. Saw all the hazards. Seeing the hazards is irrelevant. If you don't get a score, which obviously you didn't, it means nothing, which you heard me say later on. The hazard perception, it sounds weird. The hazard perception is not about you seeing the problem. It's about you getting a score for that problem. And that's why people fail, because you guys think, yeah, I've seen it, click, and that's automatic a 5. No, you have to see it and get a score within the countdown window. That's where students go wrong. It's not see it, click, happy days. It's see it, click, make sure you get a score. That's why I say the 2-click method. When you mention categories, do you mean the practice revision questions in the app? Yes, but they're done by categories. So you go to the category section and do them individually. It's all the practice questions. So if you did mock tests, for example, you're only exposed to 50 questions at a time. When you do a category, you get all the questions for that category in one go. So that's why I suggest you do categories, the 14 categories, and then go off and do mock tests to make sure that knowledge stayed put. But if you keep doing mock tests, you're not exposed to all the questions. You're only exposed to what the app decides to show you. So it gives you a false sense of security sometimes, because you think you're passing mock tests. Yes, you are passing, but you're sort of getting the questions similar to what you've always got, and not all of them. You guys are going for A. Isabella, good morning to you. Blessings, good morning to you. You are welcome. 11A coming on. A, yeah, lights. This is indicator, just in case you didn't know. For those of you that are not taking driving lessons, this is your handbrake light and this is your hazard light. Why should you never wave people across a pedestrian crossing? I think I've done that one. You can keep checking mostly in the morning. Like I said, people cancel for different reasons. If I was cancelling a test, if I had a driving test, I would cancel it after I finish work, so that date won't show up until in the evening. So like I said, check different times of the day, morning, noon and night, because you don't know who's cancelling, when they're cancelling. They could be finished cancelling after a night shift, for example. So that's obviously going to be last thing at night, and not always first thing in the morning. So I would just do it randomly through the day. If you want a chance of getting the DVSA dates that they release, it has to be Monday at 6 a.m. But as I'm saying, check regularly throughout the days of the week, different times, different days. You just have to be online at that time when it goes. But make sure you've got your license with you, ferry test certificate with you, and the method of payment, because you've only got 15 minutes to lock it down once you kind of click the date. After 15 minutes, it goes straight back into the pool. So let me just do this before I get the answers. Number 12. Josh, perseverance, 7th time now, officially passed my test. Thank you. Congratulations, and well done to you for keep going. You can get really disheartened after that many times, but well done to you. And that's one of the reasons why I say to all of you, if it's possible to take driving lessons while you are studying for the theory test, take driving lessons. Because let me just do this first and explain why. I'm assuming that's Pastor Sam. Oops, this is where you gone. That's my first attempt, 45, 66. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. Right, 12C is what you guys are going for. No vehicle may become. Yeah, never wave, never flash. If you did that on your driving test, it's game over. You failed it. When should you update your vehicle registration certificate? So as I was saying, what you don't want to do, what most of you are doing, is taking the theory test and then you end up passing, then looking for a driving instructor. The problem with that is, one, finding a driving instructor, and some of you are struggling to find one, especially this time of year. So you've done the theory test, you're now going to waste X amount of weeks, maybe a month if they've got a waiting list to find a driving instructor. If you're doing 2 hours a week with no driving experience, it's going to take you at least 6 months to get ready for a driving test. So you're now already 7-8 months after you've passed your theory test. And then when you're ready, you now got to find the driving test. We can take anything from 4 to 6 months. So you're already into the second year of your theory. And if you don't pass your driving test first time, you're probably going to have to take it again. So that's why I suggest you study and learn to drive at the same time. So by the time you pass the theory test, you're pretty much good to go to book a driving test. So you're saving time in the long run. That's what I would suggest. If you can afford to take your driving lessons while you're studying, that's what I would definitely recommend. If not, try to lock in a driving instructor for in advance. So if you know you're going to be taking driving lessons or look to take driving lessons in about 3 months' time, try to find one now and see if you can reserve them for 3 months. And that way you're good to go as well. 13. Because the way things are out there at the moment, it's really difficult to find a driving instructor and get a driving test. You don't want to be wasting your 2 years once you pass the theory side of it. Guys, are 13A. Yeah, when you move house, update your records. Why are vehicles fitted with rear fog lights? I'm having problems with my multiple choices. Theory test, please. What problems are you having? So here we go. Look, George has just put this on here. Please, my theory test will expire October. I've done a lesson and couldn't do the test because of some issues. Now I find it hard to get another before my theory expires. And there's the reason why. There's not much you can do. You literally got to be jumping online in your case, on a regular basis, probably every couple of hours if you can do it. Just get the app on your phone or the website on your phone. And with every spare moment, just keep logging on, and hopefully you get one before October. If you can't get one before October, you're back to square one, another theory test. I'll tell you what you can do. If you want, your theory test will expire October, and we're August, September, October. You can take another theory test now and extend it if you pass, because we have students on our course who come to the intensive driving course with 3 to 4 months left on their theory test, and I encourage them to take the theory test again. If you fail it, you're no worse off. You still got the 4 months, and if they pass it, it replaces the old one, so you got 2 years again. So that's an option to consider, is study for the theory. You're here now, so study for the theory again. Think about taking it and get it extended. Because if that expires, you literally can't look for a driving test anymore. Whereas if you pass the theory test again, you've got the new numbers to keep looking for another 2 years, basically. So that's another option for you, but that's your decision. You're just no worse off if you fail. You're still in the same boat. I'm assuming you mean A, because Q's next to A, so I'll give you, there you go, you replaced it. Yeah, that's what I would do, George, if I was you. Again, just removes the pressure as well. Even though you probably don't want to go for another theory test. Which I don't blame you, to be fair, but got to look at the bigger picture. You guys are going for A. Again, breaking it down. I know you got it right, but again, fog lights and got fog in the answer, so there's a link there, and that's how it works sometimes on a real test. If you guys are really stressing, sometimes there's literally clues. And so I say read the questions carefully, read the answers carefully, and sometimes there's a link between the two where you can safely say, well, that's the answer. When may you stop on Urban Clearway? I'm assuming you guys are talking to each other. Oh, wow. First of all, I passed my hazard perception test, score 46. As much as you pass it, that still needs work because 44 is the minimum. So you're just scraping that. So that suggests you're not clicking at the right times to get that. So there's no guarantee you're going to pass it the second time round. That's first of all. And then you got multiple choice tests and score 21. If you're scoring 21 on multiple choice, you wasn't ready to take a test. No way. 21. That's 21. You're nowhere near ready. That's a lack of knowledge. And that's not going to change over a live session. 21 is a lack of knowledge. I don't want to knock your confidence, but that's, yeah, it's a poor lack of knowledge with that. You need to go back to square one with that and start to understand what the questions are asking, because that score suggests you don't know what the questions, you don't know what they're asking with that. I'm sorry to say that, but if you face reality, you're going to improve quicker rather than me just saying, oh, unlucky. Yeah, go back to square one. You need to study the categories, ask yourself, understand what they're asking, not why, what they are asking, so you got a better understanding to choose the right answer. That is really, really low for a real test. If you studied, if you didn't study, that's a different situation. You got in there blind, but if you studied and got 21, yeah, that's a lack of knowledge. 15. What I will suggest as well, if you want to get that knowledge, obviously the videos are out there on YouTube, on the channel. There's other videos. Obviously, I'm not the only one that does it. And consider doing the boot camp, because you're going to get a lot more knowledge, and it's more personal as well, because like I said, I can talk to you direct. Plus, you've got email support as well. And it is until you pass, so it's not a case of just going there 5 days on the Zoom session. That's your lot. You've got the information and videos until you pass. What's an urban clearway? An urban clearway is just literally a road. They want to left kept. Start again. A road they want to be left clear. It's a road. Don't overthink it. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, it's just the roads. They call it a clearway, believe it or not. So urban just means it's a built up area more than anything else. You're welcome. Let me come back to that. Let me star you so I can come back to you. All right, you guys. There wasn't another one. Urban. Yeah, it's just the road. The roads you drive on are called clearways. That's what they call it. And like I said, urban clearway is just in a built-up area. Hence the word urban. So the question is, when may you stop an urban clearway to set down and pick up passengers? which is what you guys go for. That's, yeah, just drop them off, pick them up. You can't wait for any length of time because they want to keep it clear. And that goes back to what I was trying to say to before. Understand what the question is, understand what an urban clearway is. So when they word it a different way, you still know what the answer is. What shape is a stop sign? So Selena went through the boot camp and she put the time and effort in, now got the results she wanted and passed the other day. Let me just put these guys up because you guys are still typing A in there. Let me see. 44 out of 50 has perception 56. Right, so here I would say many of the questions are the same, but they will be worded differently. And many are also different, but it's all common sense. But you have to have the sense before you go in there. As I keep saying, it's worded differently on the app. And that's the reason why you need to understand it. Because if they word it differently, the understanding is still there. Because they still have to use some of the same words to make the question make sense. It's not a total different question. If it is a total different question, it's a different question, if that makes sense. But if you understand it, regardless of whether they add new words, take away words, whatever it is, the gist is still the same, which means because you understand it, you know what they're asking, which gives you a better chance of picking the right answer. Rebecca, got my test on 18th, which is 2 weeks on Monday. Scared is natural. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't let the nerves overtake you. My students go in there, they feel nervous. That's standard. If they tell me they're not nervous, especially on the driving test as well, I get worried because you need the nerves, the adrenaline, just to keep you a little bit focused. But if you go in there totally unfazed by it, it would worry me. Trust me. Like I said, when I get check tested, the examiner sits in the back of my car watching me give a driving lesson so I can keep my badge. I still get nervous, and I've been doing the job for 30 years, so I still get nervous watching him in the back of the car. So, but my knowledge is solid, so it's not a problem. Let's see what you guys are going for. 16, which would be D because it's octagon. So I'm just trying to find the 16s. There we go. Right, you guys are all going for D. Yeah, it's octagon. Red circles are orders. These two don't exist. B and C don't exist. And D's octagon is a stop sign. You want to turn right at a box junction. What should you do if there's oncoming traffic? So there you go. Watch the videos, practice all the questions. It helped me to move from cramming to understanding. And that's another thing you guys are doing. You're cramming, studying. That doesn't lead to understanding. Just because you're doing 2-3 hours at a time at one sitting doesn't help. You need to be structured with your learning, know what you're going to achieve. So that's why I say do categories, because if you know you're doing categories, let's just say, right, today I want to do documents. That's going to be solid documents. But if you're just cramming all over the place, you're not learning anything, and it's not structured learning. It doesn't lead from one thing, does not lead to the next thing, if that makes sense. But if you do categories, it does. So doing 3 hours at a time studying doesn't always help. I'm not saying it doesn't help. It doesn't always help. Because everyone thinks more studying you do, the better. No, it's quality studying is what you're after. Sorry, Ferdios. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I just went to ask about the AA mobility driving lessons. Yes, if you've got a disability, you can call the AA up and they can offer you the mobility driving. Only certain instructors do that. I know the AA are pretty good at it because I used to work for them years and years ago. And you may get a discount. You should get a decent discount on the lessons as well. So it depends on your disability. But yeah, I'll contact the AA if that's what you're after. Tell them your situation and they can put you in touch with a mobility driving instructor who's qualified to teach whatever disability you have as well. And there's certain other organizations that do it and can give you a discount on your driving lessons. So yeah, it's worth tackling if you have got a disability. The other way to get that study, like I said, come for the boot camp. By the time you're finished at the end of the week, you'll be good to go, as long as you turn up to the sessions live. For example, I heard about the red route on Mr. D's video. I went back to know your traffic signs. I was read about it. Guess what? I got the question under it. It was just one. Yeah, that's the way it works sometimes. You study certain things and it pops up. And like I said, when it pops up, it gives you the confidence to just boom, nail it, move on. But when you are cramming it all over the place and questions pop that you've never seen before, that's when the stress kicks in. 17. And what you guys got to understand, which I'll show you after this as well, because some of you just want to study enough to pass. B, C, got B's and C's. If you study everything on the app, for example, you're not wasting anything because you need that knowledge for your driving lesson. So you're still going to use it after the event. You guys are gone B's and C's, B's and C's. Okay, interesting. Now we've got C's. I've got to assume C's correct because it's just slightly the majority. Oh, you're welcome. Right, B's and C's. All right, let me do this answer first. You want to turn right at box junction. What should you do if there's oncoming traffic? There's B's and C's. Wait in the box if you're exit. Right, I'll tell you why it's not B, and this is common. Again, we covered this in the boot camp. It says wait in the box if your exit's clear. It doesn't suggest you can't go. Yeah, the only time you can wait in the box is if where are we? Let me do this again. Sorry. Drive slowly in the box junction, signal by oncoming traffic. No. Wait in the box if your exit's clear. That's a possible. And you guys went for C. Wait before the junction until it's clear of all traffic. Right. Drive on if you cannot turn right. That one get rid of. Right. This one's the correct answer. Wait in the box junction if your exit's clear. What this suggests is that you are blocked by oncoming traffic. That's the reason why you're waiting in the box. And this one says wait before the junction. So technically you're waiting before the yellow box, which you're allowed to wait in the box. That's what this is saying. Wait before the junction. In other words, wait before the yellow box if it's clear of all traffic. And if it's clear of all traffic, you shouldn't be waiting anyway. You should just go. This question is the revamp of the first question we had about yellow junction box. And that's what I'm trying to say about the theory test. That's why they got 12 to 1500 questions. They just revamped the question, reword it slightly and everything else. So the first question we had with the image of the yellow junction box, this is just pure words. And it's the same question. Technically, it's the same answer. If your exit is blocked, basically. I mean, when I say exit's blocked, the car's turning right. It's blocking you from going. When may you overtake another vehicle on their left? I want to get the knowledge of my multiple choice test, please, and has a perception improve more on both tests so that I can pass. To get the knowledge is studying. There's not much more you can do about that. It's studying. It's just a case of how you're going to study. You can use Google as well, which is another thing you guys don't do. If there's certain words come up, aquaplaning, urban clearway, type it into Google. Use AI if you've got Chat GPT. It's not cheating. You're studying. You're doing research. Get as much knowledge as you possibly can. So my videos and other videos on YouTube is not going to always give you all the information you require. Type it into Google and AI. Morning, do you recommend any driving school? No, I don't, unfortunately. Just because you go to a driving school doesn't mean you're going to get a decent driving instructor. That's what you don't understand. So if you go to AABSM, well-known brand, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get on with your driving instructor. So again, I'd recommend friends and family, because obviously if they use them, they may recommend them highly. Google them so you can read the reviews, stuff like that. But if you want to go down the driving school route, any driving school is the same, because it's a driving instructor you're getting, not the school. 18. Is a common one. C, sorry. One way. When may you take another on the left? You guys are going for C. Okay, let's take that. When the vehicle in front is nope. Nope. Oh, this is interesting. All right. There's two possible answers. It's not this one. Then the vehicle in front signal left. Definitely not that one. Process elimination. Get rid of. So let me just do this properly. Get rid of that. When you're approaching a motorway slip road, when you be turning off. And again, get rid of that one. When you're in a one-way street. That's not possible. When a slower vehicle is traveling in a right-hand lane of a dual carriageway. Ooh. When may you overtake another vehicle on their left? That's true. But so is this. So let me just see what you guys are saying. 18C. You guys are going for C. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, let's go for C and see what it comes up with. But either one of these is true. Normally on a one-way street, the reason why I'm hesitating, because normally on a one-way street, they say pass either side rather than on the left. But you can pass a slower moving vehicle in the right-hand lane, but they normally do this for a motorway question or a dual carriageway question. I'll be honest with you, if I'm going for this, because you're the guys doing this, I would go for D. But let's see. You always learn from mistakes. C is correct. See, you guys know more than I do, because you study more than I do. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. As much as I do this every single week, there's an odd question that's worded slightly different from what I'm used to, and it gives you the different answer. When I do my videos, like I said, I've got one coming out hopefully next week where I did make the mistake. I'll leave it in there, because like I'm showing you guys, I'm just like you. I do try to do this every week. I try to do mock tests every single week. I still make mistakes. And for me to edit these things out is be wrong, to give you the impression that it's always going to be right. It's always possible to get 50 out of 50. It's not. What should you do when you park car facing downhill? And like I said, it's just the way that was worded, because they normally have passed either side on a one-way street on that one. And because you guys study more than I do, you would be exposed to those questions more than I am. Not making my excuses, by the way. I got it wrong. End of. George. That means if it expired, I have to rewrite or can... No. If your theory test expires in October, you're back to square one. Once it expires, you're back to another theory test. What I'm saying to you is it's a possibility, because you're here on the live. So there's a reason for that. So I'm assuming to keep your knowledge up to date and find out what's going on within the theory side of it. So what I suggest you do is book another theory test now while you got the chance, and take it again while it's still fresh. And then if you pass it, it gets extended automatically for another 2 years. It doesn't get extended. Let me rephrase that. The old one becomes redundant, and the new one comes in its place for another 2 years. It doesn't get extended. So the old one is no longer. The new one takes its place. So you've got another 2 years ticking. If you failed the test that you're going to take, the old one stays in its place, so you don't lose out. So there's a lots of benefits of doing the retake now rather than wait for it to expire and you can't book a driving test. Because remember, if it expires, you keep looking for a driving test and it expires, you can't get one, you can't even look for a driving test anymore. But at least if you pass this one, you still have the option of looking once you pass this test for the next 2 years. But that's what I would suggest, and that's what I suggest to my pupils who's got limited time on their theory test. It's going to cost you nothing other than 23 quid if you pass first time. That's the way you want to look at it. So we're 19. And that's for any of you that's got less than 6 months on your theory test. I would seriously think about booking. If you've got a driving test coming up, obviously, then that's different. But if you have got less than 6 months on your theory test, then I would definitely think about retaking it while you got the chance and get it extended. What you do when you're parking downhill, if it's downhill, you want to turn your wheels towards the curb. You guys went for D. Your car requires an MOT certificate. When is it legal to drive it without an MOT certificate? What I would do, George, as well, is after the live, just jump on the DVSA website, look for theory tests, your local theory test center, type in your postcode, obviously, and just see what dates they've got. If they've got one in the next couple of weeks, think about taking it. Obviously, if the time is, I don't know, September-ish, then you've got a decision to make. But just see what the waiting time is for your theory test center. But it's something to seriously consider. That's, if you want my opinion. Because even if you got a driving test, you'll have to pass it first time. And the first time pass rate isn't the best over the country as well, especially when you're going under so much pressure that you know if you fail it that you have to take another theory test. It's all about, sorry, you guys going to say, it's driving to an appointment. Yeah, it's all about trying to reduce the stress in your theory test and your driving test situation. Try to stay relaxed as much as possible. All right. So as I was saying about categories, for those of you, as I had at the beginning, study the categories in turn. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've got 9 categories here out of 14. And this is a 20 question test. On your rule test, you should get at least 1 question from all 14 categories. It's just a case of how it's structured. In this case, you've got rules of the road 3, safety margins 2, road and traffic signs 4, safety in your vehicle 1, vehicle handling 4, incident, accidents and emergencies 1, vulnerable road users 1, attitude 2, documents 2. And I can't remember who it was. There's a couple of them that got 43 on their theory test. The passed it, got 43. And this is, my student got 43. This is what I was saying. Rules of the road 3, road and traffic signs 4. That's 7 questions right there. If they got those questions wrong, to restudy, because like I said, roads and traffic signs you're going to need for your driving test, and rules of the road you're going to need for your driving test. So just brush up on that to make sure it's on point. That's why I keep saying study the categories in turn. Right, let's just catch up with any other comments on here before we do the hazard perception. I have not something from any other instructor yet. I've not heard. But that's regarding your email. There's nothing I can do. Like I said, I spoke to them. They said send over the information. If they can fit you in, they will contact you. So if they haven't contacted you, it's because they can't fit you in. No doubt they'll probably keep your number on file. If and when a space comes up, they'll contact you to see if you're still looking for a driving instructor. That's the reason why I wanted you guys to deal directly. But they said they will contact you if they can fit you in. So if you haven't heard, that's the reason why. All right, let me get my iPad out so you guys can see the hazard perception. But before we do that, I want to show you, hold on, the test sheet. So iPad. That's your driving test report sheet. You can't see the top part of it, but it says driving test report sheet. You're going to get a copy of this, whether you pass or fail your driving test is emailed to you. So what I was trying to say to you before, box 17, traffic signs, road markings, traffic lights, traffic controllers, other road users. There's your theory test there in that box alone. So if you're weak, if you're still passing the theory test, for example, to book a driving test, but it's still weak, that's the category it will show up in. And that's the difference between passing and failing. As for the hazard perception, it's your mirrors. So it's box 14, before you signal, change your direction and change your speed. So your hazard perception, if you didn't know, is you checking the mirrors. That's what the flagging's about. So when you see a problem, you click, you check in the mirrors. So problem, click. That's how you should be taught within the car when you're doing that. So a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change directions. Anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction is when you're going to click on it, because that's the equivalent of checking the mirror. So if you're slowing down, it's the rear view mirror. And if you're changing direction, it's the left or the right door mirror, depending on which way you're moving. That's what they're looking for. Someone said they scored a low mark on their hazard perception. They saw it, but I think it was 39 out of 75. Now they saw the hazard, but they don't know what went wrong. Yes, you may have saw the hazard, but you didn't score well enough for it. As weird as it sounds, it's not about you seeing the hazard. It's about you getting a score for the hazard. You can see all day long, but if you don't get a score for it, it's pointless in seeing it. So get a score. So I suggest you click twice. See the problem, click once, count 1, 2, and then click again. So I'll do a demonstration. Let me just get it up. iPad. So when you are studying on the apps, you got two types of clicks, CGI and real life clicks. I'm doing a real life one here now. The real life ones are hard to see the hazards. It gives you good practice though, good training, but it's hard to see the hazards. So when you go for the real test, it's all CGIs and it is crystal clear on the computer. And obviously it's a bigger screen because most of you are doing it on a phone or tablet. So let's do a real life. Hopefully you guys can see that. Right, so you should be scanning the road from left to right, right to left. So this every week because road signs are on the pavement. And looking as far as you can see into the road. So I've got pedestrians there looking to cross. Car coming out on my left. Again, there's a traffic up ahead. Traffic lights or pelicans just gone flashing amber. Brake lights. And if you look beyond the cars, are moving out to their right as well. There's something in the road there, which I can't see clearly. So still click. I'm going to go for a third one on that one because I think I messed up. I'm going to go for a fourth one. Remember, for me, it's just about getting a score. So I actually went for 4 clicks on that problem just to make sure I got a score. If you click on things that exist, it won't. It's just frozen on that one. I realize you can't see what I'm saying. I just realize it's frozen. Let me unclick it. Yeah, I just realized the iPad on the screen is just frozen. So that's the video. It's just frozen. All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go to the desktop version. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. And get up on the desktop. mean, I checked it this morning, it's working fine. Hazard perception. HD, give me a HD, let's practice it. Right, let me just see if this is gonna work. Share screen. Right, you guys, let me just see. Right, okay. Let me end this. So hopefully you can see that one. Right, practice, give me HD. So again, real life clip, hard to see. Always looking in the distance. Left to right, right to left. Person's crossing the road. Go for a third one just in case. The bus slowing down. So if they slow down, I need to slow down. Again, always try to look beyond the bus, especially when you're driving in real life as well. Side roads and stuff that's happening ahead of you. If you could read the road ahead, it keeps you calm on your lessons. There's not much going on, so there's nothing for me to click for. The lights have just gone to green. So again, checking from side to side, but there's nothing for me to click on at this point. Again, look into the bend. Again, nothing for me to click on. 2 out of 5, really poor. Right, what I'm going to do is, there's 3 videos. Remember, you need to average 3 per video. So I'm already -1. Always review back so you can see how late I was. So they said I could have clicked here. I can't even see the pedestrian at this point. That's when I saw the pedestrian. And that's the downside with real life clips. They're always not in sync either. So be very careful when you're doing apps. I'll just show you guys again on this. So they're saying at this point here, I can click, I can't see the pedestrian. Now I can. So I don't know how I got 5 out of 5. But anyway, as I said, it's the best of 3 on this one. So let me just go straight into the second one. And then I'll catch up with you guys in the comments. Again, try to scan from left to right, right to left. Wow, it's really hard to see stuff on this. Pedestrians right on the corner. Again, keep scanning. You never know if it's your double. Pedestrian crossing the road there. I'm not sure if a car's coming out of that one, so I'm going to click anyway just to make sure there is a car there. Keep scanning. 4 out of 5. Again, review it back to see if you can improve. So it said pedestrians crossing the road, which is there. I probably could have seen that sooner as well, but it's a 4 out of 5, almost a 5. It's literally on borderline. I don't know if you can see it right there. Literally right between the 4 and the 5, but it's gave me 4, which is fine. And then let's go on to the last one. So try to look in the distance to pick up information early. That's how you should be driving in real life. I don't know why I clicked on that. I'm not even moving. It's more panic than anything else. He's signaling, so I may need to change to the left. The van's parked up on the left, so I can't stay a meter from the left anymore, so I'm going to come back out. Pedestrians, all pedestrians. got roadwork signs. So what you want to do now is look far down as you can see to see if there's roadworks, where it is. So the arrow says I need to come away from the curb. And look, 5 out of 5. So again, review it back. So there's my, you can't see it there, but there's my first click. I'll just show you about the thing. There's my first click and my second click's landing in the 5. And that's why you go for 2 clicks, by the way. So my first click, I sealed the van nice and early. And for the person that got 39 on the hazard perception, that's probably the reason why. Like I said, you saw the hazard, which is there for me. That's where I clicked, but it's not in the score box. And then the second click landed in the 5. So that's how you have to look at it. So again, now if I finish reviewing, I've got 11 out of 15. On average, it's 3 per video. So ideally, not ideally, but minimum, I want 9 out of 15. So I'm already +2. And that's the advantage of getting 5s and 4s. It brings the average up. And that's what you're looking to do. So that's what I would suggest you guys do as well. Do 2 to 3 videos at a time before you go straight into a mock test and see what your average score is. If you're averaging more than 3, you're on point, and then just try to get that concentration over the mock test. But like I said, my average is 11, I'm +2. So if I kept going at that rate, I'll be passing my hazard perception. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me just see what you guys are saying. I've been looking in my local area as well. So at this point, you haven't got a driving instructor. Is that what you're saying? Sorry, Chidi's saying, please kindly help me with this question. That must be heard. I heard that a new question will be introduced, a new way to answering questions with videos from September. Is it true? I've not heard anything like that. If you're talking about video questions, that's already in the test, which is case study videos, which is the last 3 questions, 48, 49, 50 is videos. You watch the videos and then answer the question. If that's what you're talking about, that's not new. I've not heard anything about that, but the DVSA don't let us know until they're ready to launch it about 4 weeks in time. So if it's true, it will be coming soon, but I've not heard anything about it. So I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I've not heard anything about it. But the way you're wording your question, as if to say it's the case study videos, which is already there. MAG saying hi. Pass first time. Congratulations on passing. You too. 48, 45 out of 50, 53 at 75. Congratulations on passing. And Cosmas has passed the ferry test as well. Congratulations. So there's no other comments on the hazard perception. So hopefully that makes sense then, because there's no other comments on that and no other questions. So as I said previously, what you want to do is see the problem and then literally click, then count 1, 2, and then click again. If you have to go for a third click to make sure you got a score, then so be it. I repeat, it's not about you seeing the hazard because you can see it too early. It's about making sure you score points for that hazard, and your average has to be 3 across the board. Please kindly explain ADS. ADS is the new question that came in March, Advanced Driving Assistance System questions, which is a new technology on cars like lane changes, speed limiters, that type of thing. I have got a video that's out there on my channel that explains all the questions. That will come in on the category of safety in your vehicle. So if you really want detailed information, go to safety in your vehicle, and those questions will pop up in there. But that was in the theory test since March. How many lessons do I need to take for my practical driving? I can't answer that. I've never seen you drive. I got no idea. No one can give you that information until they see you drive, because they want to know whether you're calm enough, quick learner, slow learner, average learner, whether you're going to panic on the main roads. So that question can't be answered until you jump behind the wheel with an instructor. No problem, you're welcome. All right, that's the last comment I see on here. So I'm going to say to you guys, have a good weekend, the rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. For those of you who've got a test coming up, I wish you best of luck with that. For those of you who've got a test coming up in the next couple of weeks, while you're studying, write down any questions that you may have, any doubts, any concerns. Bring it to the live next week. Let me answer it to send you guys into your test confidently. But most importantly, you guys look after yourself and stay safe. What was the name of a videos for driving in YouTube? It's just challenging. If you type in driving lessons, it'll come up on there. But like I said, the ones I recommend are Driving School TV, Clearview Driving School, DGN, they do mock test videos, and Conquer Driving School. But if you type in driving lessons, the YouTube will bring up a lot. But those are the ones I recommend, because like I said, they film it with a bit of fun involved, and that's what driving should be. You should never be stressed. If you get an instructor that's stressing you out, you may want to think about changing them, to be fair. Enjoy your driving lessons. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.